Hey YouTube, it's me, Jen, your Pudgy Picker.
And Kim.
And we are here again for another podcast. Two sisters.
One booth.
And this week, it is podcast number 46.
Oh, I want to say 49.
Oh, you're rushing things.
I'm a little ahead of the game.
So, 46. So after this, we have 4 more.
1, 2, 3. Yeah, my math ain't so good this
late.
late.
You're getting your fingers out. She's got gloves on, so that might make it a little difficult.
Well, at least they're not mittens. I'd really be screwed.
I didn't know math would be required for this podcast.
That's right.
So today is going to be do's and don'ts in your booth. Now, if you've been doing this a while, you may already know these, but you may need a reminder.
Reminders are good.
And if you're new, then this is stuff that you should consider and think about. Now, these are things that we live by, essentially, because it makes the difference between having sales and not having sales.
Yep.
And if you're putting in the effort to have a booth, you need to just fine-tune it by these points to make your space more inviting and more fun to shop.
Yep.
You don't want people just walking out of your booth grumbling because things were in the way and they're stepping on things and they're dirty and all this other stuff. You know, this is stuff that you want to make sure that you are utilizing in your booth. So we'll start with the do's and then we'll kind of just do the reverse side of it too. So we have 10 do's and don'ts. So first is having clean merchandise.
Oh, yes.
It's almost a shame that you have to tell somebody this.
Yep.
But
I see it all the time.
how many times have you picked up a jar or a glass and there's bug bodies?
Yes. Yes.
There's dead corpses in it.
Well, if anyone that's been listening any length of time probably remembers me saying that there was a vendor at our store. Somebody was going to buy something, asked somebody to help get it down, and when they got it down, it had a mouse house in it.
Ooh.
So yeah, you want to make sure there's no critters, dead or alive, in your items.
Was it like a toolbox or
It
a
was, I
trunk?
think, a metal can or something. It was.
Oh,
yeah,
surprise!
yeah. No,
That's what we call a bonus.
we're not even going to charge you for that.
Did she end up getting it, or?
I can't remember now, honestly, but yeah.
I'm just curious.
Yeah.
So yeah, if you have clean merchandise, you look at things and they're clean or they're sparkling, or if you have glass pictures or frames and it has dirty glass, that's an immediate turn off.
Well, most places have those fluorescent lights too, and if something is clean, it's gonna make it, I hate to use the word sparkle, but it does make it brighter and more attractive than something that's got that haze over it and makes it look dull and unappealing.
Now, if I go into a boutique type place and I see something dirty and they got $8, $10, $12 on it, I don't want to have to put any elbow grease into that.
Nope.
Now, if I go to a garage sale and there's something I really like and it's 50 cents and it needs a good washing,
I'll get it.
I'm all about it.
Yep.
So, think about, the idea of, do you want somebody to buy something and have to put work into it to make it appealing to them? And that's even assuming they're going to buy it.
Yeah, well, I had made the comment too earlier. When you go into a store and you go to buy something, it doesn't matter what the item is, and say there's 10 of them on that shelf. If the front one at the box is kind of crunched or the plastic is ripped, in most cases, I'm going to reach around behind and get the next one. Why?
Yeah.
I don't know. There's probably not a thing wrong with the first one, but it looks beat up. It looks like it's been touched, opened up, whatever. So I'm going to go for the one that looks the nicest because it's, again, that coin phrase I used, perceived value. This is new, not touched. That's what I want to pay for.
Well, and if they're all the same price, if the corner's a little crunched on a Kleenex box and it's cheaper, I'll buy it and just turn that part toward the wall. I don't care. But if I'm going to pay the same amount for one that doesn't look tampered with and the other one that looks like somebody played hockey with it,
there you go.
Nope, not going to do it.
Perceived value.
Yeah, so
the tissue inside still as good as the other box.
That's true.
But
I have had tissue. This is a confession. I've had tissue boxes that were so cute that I liked them that I would open them up and take out of another tissue box and put it in and like tape the side closed.
No.
Have you done that?
No.
Oh, really?
No. Well,
Thanks, throw me under the
actually,
bus.
no, actually what I've done is I've cut the bottom out of it, so I just slide it over the top of the next one.
Ooh.
So it's like those covers. I just keep recovering it.
Interesting. So you got a tissue box that's like 2 feet by 2 feet. So what's up with it? Oh, it's a long story. So, yeah, and it's funny because I'll have a certain color tissue box I put on my desk upstairs, and my son will come over and take it off of my desk, and then I'm like, no, that is my tissue box.
It's my color.
Yes.
You can't take my color.
It's got purple. Just leave it alone. So, yeah, clean merchandise. I mean, take the extra time. You're going to get the extra money. So whatever, if you take 5-6 minutes to wash something off, or to, use a little, window cleaner on it, it's going to be worth it to you money-wise.
Yep.
So just...
You won't be marking it down.
Put in the time and just do it. Because otherwise, if it's going to sit in your booth and it's going to take up space for a while before it finally sells, then, you've spent a lot of time trying to sell it as opposed to time to just clean it up and then it sells right away. Mm-hmm. Being organized. This is a tough one. Yeah. Having your booth, set up in a logical way. Yeah. You don't go in and you have, picture frames over here and then down there and then up front and then in the back. It has to kind of be cohesive. It kind of has to make sense. Yep. So that when somebody comes in and they see kitchen-y type items, they know, oh, I'm kind of looking for a mug, or I'm looking for, some vintage utensils or something. They kind of know, oh, that's where I should look. Because if they don't see it there, they're going to probably leave the booth. And if you have it on the other side and it doesn't make sense, it's kind of like if you go into, any kind of Walmart or any kind of store. You go in and you look around. Okay, that sign, that is housewares. Over here is linens. Over here is where the medicine is. It's not, in 10 different places. Yeah. So,
though they do cross-sell, but that's a different story.
Or have an end cap, something that draws your eye in. But that's staging. We're going to talk about that too. Yeah. So having it organized, it makes it, you want your booth to be shopped and people to have a pleasant experience and not walk out of there going, everything was dirty, nothing made sense. I just need to move on down the road.
Well, when we first opened our first booth, we did exactly that. We were like, we're going to do this together. Okay, right down the middle. Your stuff is on this side, my stuff. After a while, it's like, I've got picture frames here. She's got picture frames over there. I got candles here. She's got And that's when we got talking, and it was like, if I was shopping this booth, this would make no sense to me. So that's when we started merging.
It has to make sense to the customer, because that's who's going to be buying things, and that's what your business is about. Yep. So, yeah.
We're speaking from experience.
Yes, we are, because we've been doing this quite some time. Yeah. This may sound like a very simple thing as well. Keeping your floor clean. Whether you have tile in your mall or you have a carpet... I think we've always had carpet. There's only one carpeted aisle with carpeted booths in our new place, and that's where we are. So, when you look and you see little specks of, fuzz and
styrofoam.
Yes. So, when you look down and you see that, that's an automatic, it just looks like somebody doesn't care. And we don't want to give that feeling off. And I had recently, one of our neighbors asked me, well, come through my booth and give me some ideas, or what do you think, And one thing, I stepped into the booth and I'm like, the floor is, there's stuff all over the floor. I mean, like dirt, because she's in the same aisle as us. And I'm like, you need to, she's like, yeah, I keep meaning to. And I said, it doesn't give off a good impression. You're asking me what you should do. That's one of the things you should do. Yeah. Because we only give suggestions if we're asked.
Yep. But if you ask,
you're gonna get it.
Yep. It's like my kids that ask me, you really want to know, and then they know. Oh, let me think a minute.
let me think. Do I really want to hear this?
Yeah. So, I mean, we're not gonna be mean about it, but you ask us, we're gonna.
Yeah, because when you glance around and you see dirt on the floor, you automatically have, even if it doesn't register to you, there's a part of you that thinks this person doesn't care. Because that's a very simple thing to take care of and keep it looking nice. Yep. And if you, even if you reach down and just, pick up a few fuzzies off the floor, or if you take a broom and just sweep it, you have to, just that little bit, that makes a difference.
Yep.
So, this is getting very close to what we were talking about, being organized, grouping items.
Yes.
So grouping like items, as we said, makes sense. That leads into the next one, staging items. Mm-hmm. So we have an area in the front of our booth that is chrome and glass, is in the very front center of our booth. And we change that out every month to month and a half. And if you stage those items, they may not necessarily be grouped similarly. So coming up soon, we're going to be doing like white, clear glass, silver. That's the other thing I was going to add to that list, things that are silver. Okay. Or like shabby chic, distressed, farmhouse-ish type items. So that could be anything. You could have like a little figurine that's all white. You could have a glass or a cup or a vase that's all white or clear glass. So these items don't necessarily are grouped according to their kind, but when you pull them together and stage them, it really makes a striking look when you look at it. Yes. So if you guys are listening to this in real time, in the next week or so, we're going to be having our spring booth tour. So you'll be able to see some of the things that we're implementing, like what we're talking about for this display. Also, excuse me. Woo! Sorry. Garlic. You had garlic too.
I know, but I'm not burping.
Oh, well, it could be worse.
I'll wait. Yeah, I'll wait till I get home.
Better out than in, I always say. So, you can have things grouped together and it makes an impact, it makes a statement, and it draws their attention in. So it's okay to do that too. So sometimes when you have, like we did, nautical type items, and that include decor, vases, glasses, candle holders, figurines, frames that had shells on them. So it included a lot of different items, but it was themed. So it made sense. Even though it wasn't grouped similarly, it made sense. Mm-hmm. So if you do that, we try and change this display out every month to month and a half. And it's nice because then it grabs people's attention. And we've had things in the booth, and then once we pull them to the front, they start selling. Mm-hmm. So we've had nautical stuff in the booth. It sells. But to have it all together, if you have it staged, people will say, oh, I want this, this, and this, because it looks nice together. So that's another advantage, is you're actually going to sell more, because it's grouped in such a way. That's like when people dress a window or have clothes that coordinate. There's some people out there that don't really know how to decorate. And if they just see something or they see an outfit that's coordinated, they're like, that,
That's what I want.
So, staging items is a good way to do it. Not just grouping similar items like these. This is kitchen, this is home decor, these are candles, mixing it up a little bit, but having a theme really makes those items pop. Keep your booth full and interesting. So that's a do. There are some booths we've seen that have a lot of space. A lot of shelf space that's empty. A lot of wall space. There's nothing hanging
A lot of display pieces and nothing to display.
Yes. Yeah, so you want to keep it, you want to keep it full, because the more things you have out, the more, the chance of you making more money. There are some booths I've seen before, and I've said this 100 times, you think, if everything in this booth sold, they would still not make their rent, because it's that few amount of items. And it's great to have lots of display pieces, but if it's empty, then you just look at it and go, eh. You
have so many display pieces, it takes up all that prime real estate, and there's no place to put the stuff you want to sell.
Yeah, it's a balance to have between the two. And on the opposite side, you don't want to have it so full that you're afraid to even pick up something because you don't want to domino and knock 20 things over.
Like your earrings?
Oh my goodness. That every time we go to fill my earring stand,
I don't know what
you
it
touch
is.
one and 3 fall on the floor.
Yeah.
And it's like, you're going to be here all day. And
Yeah.
you're just never going to get
I don't know why it happens to me that way.
I don't know. You're just so graceful.
Yeah, it's a bull in a china shop some days.
So yeah, keep it full and keep it interesting, but not stuffed. The next one is to, if I can read my writing, keep inventory moving and fresh. So that's kind of full and interesting, but keep the booth, the merchandise moving. So as things sell, move them around. If things aren't selling,
Move them
still
around.
move them around, because you don't want things to be sitting. Because, you know, if you walk through a booth or through a mall and you see things and they don't look like anything's moved, then you're automatically thinking, well, nothing new has come in.
Yep.
So it's not even worth stepping in and looking around.
And I've done that so many times.
And when we did our, we did our big refresh in our booth several months ago, that really made an impact on sales.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, it was, it was really obvious. And things that had been sitting started selling. And sometimes you'll have something and you'll think, well, I'm probably just going to take this home because it's not going to sell. I'll just move it over here. And then you come in the next week and it's gone. So, keep things moving. Don't just come in and straighten up and maybe put a few things out and just leave everything the way it is. I mean, consider, moving stuff around at least every other month, and to do maybe a big booth refresh maybe once or twice a year.
Because you'll come to realize, even though it may be great and awesome stuff, if you have the same stuff sitting in the same areas, that because you're working that booth and you know where everything is, you're like, why isn't this selling? This is a really nice thing and it's a good price. But maybe to the customer, they're not seeing it for some reason. Maybe it's behind something or something else is drawing their attention. So if you're going in and you're moving it from one spot, from a bottom shelf to a top shelf, from a left shelf to the right shelf, you are more than likely going to bring that to somebody else's attention. I've often said, when you walk down the aisle one way, if you turn around and come back the other way, you're going to see stuff you didn't see going down the first way.
Yeah.
And if you have people that shop there often and they have a tendency to walk the same aisles in the same direction.
I do the same thing.
Yep.
When I go into a place, I'm like, this is the way I have to go.
Yeah. So there might be just the stuff is sitting too low to see from that direction, or maybe it's sitting behind something, or it's in an awkward corner, and unless you stop or walk in the booth, you're not going to notice it. But so by shifting it around, you're going to catch more eyes and better chance of a sale.
I've told people in one of my videos not too long ago that if I have a little extra time Monday when I'm at the thrift store, once I'm done doing my route, I will go and walk the opposite direction. And I will pick up stuff that I didn't see.
Exactly.
And I've had a few people say, wow, I never thought of that. And I'm doing it and I'm finding stuff. So, yeah, it is a good way to do that.
Well, just a few weeks ago, there was a booth that was closing down and they had a huge sale in there. And I had about 10 minutes before you showed up to meet me back there because you were going up front to do something. And so I stood there and I looked that booth over top to bottom, side to side, and then I went and sat down. And then you came over there and started picking up stuff and setting it over by me. And I'm like, where was that? I didn't see that. Where did that come from?
Mine, it's all mine.
Yeah, so that's what I'm talking about.
Yeah, it's... Plus, if you consider, if you have your booth really well stocked, there are prime real estate areas that are like, it's very easy to see. It's a great visual. It's easy to spot from the aisle. It's eye level. Not every space in your booth has that. Yeah. And there's areas where you have stuff because you want to utilize the space, but some things are going to get missed, at the very back on the very bottom shelf, to keep that merchandise moving, because people, they just don't look down there. I mean, me and you are more thorough, and we'll practically stand on our heads if we're going to find a deal.
Yeah.
But not everybody does that. So, even those areas where it's not really prime real estate, consider moving that stuff around to get it seen as well, so it'll sell. Okay. This is something we can do because we are in a co-op situation. We are working in the mall between the two of us 2 days a month. Or when we're in there restocking, we are able to talk to our customers and get feedback.
Yep.
Now, if you
That's
just
important.
go in and put stuff in and you don't work in the mall, that's a little more difficult to do. It's not necessarily impossible.
No, because you can always hang around and shop yourself and chat with the customers and see what they're looking for.
So, yeah, getting feedback, especially if someone comes in and they really, like, we've had people come in and, like, practically shove us to the side so they can look at our, you know, fabric or other items. So we'll talk to them and they'll say, oh, is this your booth? And then we'll talk and, you know, well, you know, is it, what types of things are you looking for? Or, you know, what catches your eye? Or, you know, to kind of get that feedback that's really important. And once you kind of know exactly what they're looking for or things that they're looking, you know, to find, or, you know, everybody, including you and I, have this running list in our mind of things we need, things we want, colors we are attracted to, that when we go somewhere, we hone in on something that, you know, that fits into that category in our brain. So that's something that, you know, we want to ask people, you know, what type of things are you looking for? And so that's, you know, or do you collect anything? So that really helps us to kind of know exactly what our customers are looking for. Next one would be have nice containers for display. If you have a small grouping of items or things that you could put in a little bin or a little basket, think about the what you're storing that in. Don't use cardboard boxes.
Ugh.
Don't use plastic containers, meaning, I don't know, just basic.
Like, well, butter bowls and, you know, that old butter bowl you had in it.
So, yeah, I mean, put it in a basket. If you know it's something you're going to be carrying for a while, you can put the basket not for sale or put a high price on it. If it sells, hey, there you made extra money.
There you go.
Or, you know, use it for a while, then put it for sale. You have to come up with different containers. You know, maybe some kind of natural weave basket, lined or unlined. You could have
Little vintage boxes.
yeah, like, you know, like they had the cheese in it, or you could get ones now, you can find ones all the time that have, like, you know, they're made to look older, or have a knob or a drawer pull on them, stuff like that. You can use wire baskets, chicken wire baskets. Chicken wire is like all the rage now. So there's those things that you can use that it makes it look nice and it's accessible for customers to dig in. Be careful that you don't have something that has a scratchy or a wire or something, because I was picking out bins for our jewelry and there was a very cute one and I reached in there and I could feel on the edge it was like scratchy, and I'm like, I don't want that to tear the merchandise up or tear somebody's hand up if they reach in there.
True.
So keep that in mind as well. But you know, put it in a nice way. Don't think, if you go to a garage sale and they have kids' clothes, you know, they got magic marker on the box. You don't want your stuff to look like a garage sale, because then people want garage sale prices. So don't have it in cardboard boxes, you know, plastic bins, laundry baskets. We've seen that occasionally.
Yes.
So yeah, think about the containers that you're putting your items in. Kind of stay away even from like certain Dollar Tree, even.
Oh, yeah.
Because there's a lot of those bins. You can't really see through them. They're, you know, they might be too deep. You want something that's a little bit more with the theme of your booth, you know, wood, wicker, you know, wire baskets, something that it kind of goes with the theme you're going for anyway. Next would be, the last one actually would be have a variety of price points.
Yep.
That's really important, because if you have mostly larger items, that's great when you sell a $400 table.
Yep.
But if you don't sell a $400 table, you're not going to make your rent that month. Also, if you have everything marked at $1, you're a dollar store.
Yes.
And you're going to have to sell a whole lot of stuff to make enough money to make it worth your while. So there has to be a balance. We like the idea that a little kid can come into our area and buy something for mom or dad, or somebody can come in and buy a nice higher end piece, something to hang on the wall or something to decorate their house.
Yeah.
I mean, we have a wide variety of prices.
Well, and the thing you keep in mind, too, is you're going to draw in potential buyers. Say you have someone that's just looking for bigger pieces of furniture or bigger type items, and they go by and see all the small stuff. They're not ever going to step in there and happen to notice that was something that their Aunt Ida would have loved, and she has a birthday coming up or something, you know?
Oh, Aunt Ida. We can't forget Aunt Ida.
So, and just in the reverse, if somebody's looking for just small stuff and they, you know, they don't have a lot of room, they're in a small apartment or something, and they go by and all you have is great big stuff, they're not going to step in and maybe miss that little gem of a table in the corner or something. So if you have the smaller things and you're using them too to stage the bigger things, somebody's liable to say, oh, I really like that table, and wow, that's a really neat centerpiece, and may buy more than what they originally intended. I'm sure we've all done that, gone somewhere and bought more than we want, just because you see it with something else, and it's like, that would be perfect on that spot.
And when it's staged, again, you look at it and you think, oh, that looks so nice together, and you just buy, you know, both pieces or whatever. So that's important too. And also having the price points and also different styles. And that's important too, because we've seen people who have a certain style, like
very
people
specific.
Like primitive, you know, that the dark red, the navy blue, the black and the brown, you know, primitive style. And there are people who like that, but if that's mainly all you have, it looks nice when you go by the booth and everything's like cohesive and it looks nice, but you're not appealing to everybody. And you want, you know, almost anybody to go into your booth and be able to say, oh, wow, look at that, or I'd like that. Yeah. You know, to have a variety where you don't have all, you know, feminine items, or you don't have, you know, I don't think we really have any that are all masculine.
Yeah, no.
We have a few that are like signs and, you know, stop signs and all that kind of stuff. But, you know, to have something that I think it's important for us to have variety, because we'd get bored picking up the same type of item and you see, oh, that would sell, but no, that really doesn't go with our booth.
Yeah.
We don't want to do that.
You know, and we're not saying there are certain people that have those kind of specific booths and do well. It's just, it's one of those, it's so specific that like that kind of special grouping in one place we were at did fantastic. That type of all one item in our new place, that wasn't doing so hot. So, you know, there's a possibility that you have one style may work for you, but if you really want to, you know, raise the dollars, if you really want to make the money, then a variety is going to be a little more beneficial.
I like looking for different things. And when it comes to selling on eBay, as well as having a physical space, I like the idea that I can find things for both of those.
Oh yeah, you look at it and go, oh, that would never sell in our booth, but man, I'll get a good price for eBay.
Yeah, so I mean, or it's nice to say, oh, that would kind of be a pain to ship. You know, maybe I'll take it to the booth for a little while.
Yep.
And if it doesn't sell, I can always list it. So,
and I've sold stuff that way.
Yeah, having a variety of things and being able to do that. Plus, if we didn't sell, you know, on eBay at all, or we didn't sell in a physical space, but only did eBay, there's a lot of things we would leave on the table that we know people would buy.
Oh, yeah.
That we'd say, well, that's not going to sell online, or that's definitely not going to sell in the booth, or, you know, so there's those things to consider. So, yeah, having a variety of the price and a variety of items, I think, is what we think really works.
Yeah.
And it works really well for us.
Yeah.
So, you know, it's like anything else. If you want to have a booth and you sell, you know, mainly this type of item or that type of item, you know, and you're known for that and people come to you because they know that's what they're going to find, that may work well. But I would get bored shopping one particular style. There's a lady in our booth that seems to do pretty well, and her booth is very lacy, pink colors, that green color, vintagey, lacy, girly, Paris kind of things.
Yep.
And she seems to do really well.
Okay,
but yeah. I think just me personally, if I saw something and said, oh, that's really cool, somebody would love that. No, it's black. It's not going to fit into, you know, the style of my booth. I don't want to be limited that way. You know, and that it's more of a challenge sometimes to stage things that are so on opposite ends of the scale of how things look, it's, I mean, it is a little bit of a challenge, but I love the variety, and I don't get bored because I'm always looking for so many different things.
It just reflects my life. I'm very eclectic.
You mean chaotic?
Shut up. I'm going to shut the microphone off so you can't hear me slap her. No,
I always
eclectic.
get abused after the microphone goes off.
Eclectic, because I like so many things, so many styles, so many colors in my life, in my style at home and furniture and whatevers, that I'm the same way when it comes to our shopping. But I think that's what makes our booth. Our booth is like a dessert, we've been told. A lot of people say that they go everywhere else in the store and save our booth for last.
That's cool.
Because, yeah, that's always, I always love when people say that, because they enjoy our booth so much. It's like, there's, you know, when you got that special cake or whatever, that's strawberry or that cherry, and you set it to the side of your plate. That's the last thing you eat because it's the best part to you. And that's how they look at our booth. So I always like when people tell us that.
Yeah, that's nice. Because, you know, in the end of the day, I mean, if you're doing well and you're making the money, I mean, that's a reward in and of itself. But to have someone say, I love to shop at your booth, or I'm so happy, I love to see the things you guys pick out. And that makes you feel good, because then you're making money, but you're meeting a need, and you're bringing enjoyment to people who are looking at your things. And I think that's a big part of it, you know.
And that's what I enjoy a lot about this business. And being at the cash register, I see that a lot. I see the look on these people's face when they come up there with that item that just struck them. Whether it's from, you know, Grandpa this, or Aunt so-and-so had that, or my mom used to have this, that's bringing back that memory alive to them and bringing them so much joy. To, you know, it's just that thrill of the hunt, the finding that one thing that you've been looking for, something that'll fill that need.
That emotional connection.
It is. Their face lights up, you know, like it was $1 million that you handed them, and it's nothing but an old, beat up, rusted whatever. So that's the best part, is we're saving those things, and the people are finding them that they belong with.
Yeah, and it's, you know, and I've always said, and this is no insult to Dollar Tree, but I say we live in a Dollar Tree and a throwaway society.
Exactly.
You have something, you're tired of looking at it, you throw it away, you donate it. You know, there's so much waste, but there's so much stuff to be found. And that's good for us, but it's not good for the environment.
No.
I mean, people literally will throw stuff away that's perfectly good.
Yeah.
I'm tired of looking at it. I'm redecorating. It's not like I sat in my favorite chair and the leg fell off, and now I need a new chair because I can't replace. Yeah, I mean, it's not like that. Other countries, I've had people, you know, make comments on my YouTube channel, and they say, we don't have shops like this. I could never find anything like that here, because people just don't
waste,
throw stuff away. You know, they just don't. You know,
they wear it till it's wore out.
Yeah.
And then they make it into something else until it wears out. And
yeah, so
you know, that big tablecloth turns into something as small as patches for work clothes.
Yeah, or a little dress for somebody. You know, it's your and people lived that way because they couldn't afford to just say, I think I want to redecorate this whole room. Well, back then it was like, oh, tough. You know, there's nothing you can do about it. I mean, you use what you have. Yeah. And you use it until there's no use left in it.
The truth is, people can't afford to do that now, but that's why they're in so much debt.
Yeah.
But we won't go into that.
True.
That's a whole other podcast.
Yeah, we could start our own
different
financial
channel. Yeah.
So do you have anything else to add, or is that
I think I've added a lot to tonight's discussion.
Yeah, so if you're new and this is new ideas to you, or things to think about, or you've been doing it a while and you need that little tap on the shoulder to say, hey,
remember,
you know, these are the few things, you got to step it up a little bit. We all need reminders.
Oh, yeah.
So we hope that you enjoyed our podcast this week. Please give this video a thumbs up. You can leave a comment down below, or you can email a question or a comment to jen@pudgypicker.com. You can follow me on Twitter and Instagram under The Pudgy Picker. And we will see you next week for another podcast, which we're going to be talking about. No, I'm not going to say it, because if we change our mind, then we'll be stuck.
That's right. And we've been doing that a lot lately.
tell you, doing it once a week is a bit of a challenge.
Yes.
So if you don't know, we are going to number 50. 50 will be our last podcast, but we are going to be doing a once-a-month show that'll be close to an hour long, and it will be video. It will be going places with us. It'll be, sourcing. We will just have conversations where we're just sitting and talking like this, I mean, it's going to be a little bit of everything. It's going to be some how-tos and some other ideas, so we think it will be a lot of fun.
We'll have fun. We hope you have fun with us.
And if you don't, then we'll just have fun, and that's it.
All by ourselves.
Okay, we will see you next time.
Okay, bye.
Bye.
In Mentor